the president of the AA, Edmund King. Edmund, lovely to see you. So let's start with a very straightforward question. What do you make of it? Is it a good idea that we have these health checks in our cars, not every 1 year, but every 2?
The government has raised this before. Justine Greening in 2011, Jesse Norman in 2018. And on both occasions, changing the MOT was actually ruled out on safety grounds. And it is very important. If you look at MOT failures, it is things like lighting, suspension, and brakes. 1 in 6 of the failures in the last quarter were about brakes. Now, obviously, getting your brakes checked once a year is very important for safety. And when we've polled AA members, 94% think the MOT is either very important or quite important for safety. So no, overall, on safety grounds, on money grounds, and indeed environmental grounds, the MOT also checks car emissions. And if you've got a gross polluter out there pumping out lots of diesel emissions, etc., that will be picked up at the MOT and put right. So I guess on all those grounds, it's really not the best solution.
I mean, Edmund, you and I both know that motor insurers have their customers' best interests at heart all of the time, maybe. I'm just wondering what they might respond to seeing MOTs going from 1 year to 2 year. I mean, it's going to see an increase in the premiums, isn't it?
Well, I think it could, because basically, if you've got cars with faulty brakes out there, they are more likely to have a collision, and premiums are based on likelihood of collisions, and therefore it could actually put it up. But I think the other thing, in terms of cost savings, how many cars do you see out there with one faulty headlight or a rear light out or a brake light out? And that things like that get picked up at the MOT. If you get stopped by the police, the fixed penalty notice for that offence is £100. If you don't put it right, it goes up to £1,000. So again, the cost of a fixed penalty is twice as much, just about, as the cost of an MOT. So it doesn't really save you money there. So I think, what we'd say to the government, there are other ways you could help drivers. And yes, the Chancellor did in the last mini budget cut fuel duty by 5p a litre. To save that extra £55 a year, he could cut fuel duty by another couple of pence. And the Chancellor's still getting more money in. Because of the high cost of fuel, he's getting the 20% VAT, and VAT comes on the overall pump price. So the customer, the Chancellor is still making more money from that VAT. So there still is a bit of wiggle room for the government to do it without potentially overall costing them more money. And that would be appreciated a lot more by many, many drivers out there who are finding it very tough at the moment, whilst the majority actually support an annual MOT for safety reasons for themselves and others.